what is your main objective from using service intelligence? I mean, now that's a fair question. Most shops would agree that the top objectives are increasing car count or deepening customer loyalty and creating competitive advantage, boosting work order averages and profitability, and in essence, changing the business model to favor maintenance as opposed to repairs. And we're going to talk about the result of advances in technology and better manufacturing in the automotive field and how it has changed the dynamics of our industry. In the last 20 years, automotive reliability has greatly increased. Advances in chemistry, in materials such as rubbers, belts and hoses and those sort of things, lubricants and anti-corrosives, and also just better manufacturing tolerances. It just creates vehicles that today will last 250,000 miles and beyond. So for the automotive service business, this is what is called often as a paradigm shift. A paradigm shift is when the rules of your business change, and then as a business operator, you have to, in turn, adapt your business model so that it matches current realities. Waiting for vehicles to break down is a sure way to go broke.
Hey, George, do you have an example that of a paradigm shift that is not automotive related?
Yes, a good example of that is when we think of other industries. One of them would be the dental industry. With the introduction of fluoride, cavity occurrences really declined sharply in the 80s, and the dental industry basically had to change their model from fixing rotting teeth to maintaining them, straightening them out, whitening them, and everything else that preventive maintenance does. And as you all have experienced, you cannot leave your dental office without your next appointment already scheduled for you. Another good example would be the fishing industry. In the fishing industry, in the old days, you would go to the pub and chat with fellow fishermen to find out where the best fishery was. Now, that is, of course, today supplanted by sonars. And you will never find a situation where a fishing vessel will go into sea without a sonar and try to guess where the fish are. There's no need to do that when you can turn the unit on and actually you can see the school of fish, and then it directs you to where to go fishing. As far as the technology that mechanics can use has a lot to do with data mining. And what you are looking at here on your screen is the application Service Intelligence, and it is a great example of what a modern, well, if we're going to use the analogy of a sonar, what data mining does for the modern automotive service dealer. So what you're seeing here is my customer list, and I have 28,580 customers in my database. And I have added a filter, which you will find is pervasive throughout Service Intelligence, where Service Intelligence can allow you to do a selection of what customers you want to look at. And in this case, I have selected customers that have been into my shop 15 times or more, and they have been to my shop in the last 12 months. I'm also going to restrict how many vehicles are in the family, so I'm going to get rid of fleets here. I'm just going to make it 0 to 2 vehicles. And so you'll see that it will give me a subset of my customers. So that gives me my top 387 customers as far as number of visits on individual vehicles. So by clicking on Lana Baker here, what the system is doing is searching through her 13 invoices on her Lexus and summarizing them for me so that I have a single report that tells me everything that's needed on the vehicle. If I go to the Isuzu Trooper, I will see that this is a totally different report. This vehicle is driven 16 miles a day versus the Lexus that is driven 27 miles a day. And it also has unique service history with the 7 invoices that are part of that history. This is an older machine. It's a laptop that I'm using, and it is about 6 years old. So this is an example of why the computer system is quite efficient. What we are using is the latest Microsoft technology, and with SQL Server backend, which is ripping through my records very efficient. Let's start with deepening customer loyalty and creating competitive advantage.
George, where did these business objectives come from?
Well, they are taught widely in the automotive industry, and in the U.S. We have training institutions like Automotive Training Institute, or ATI, Management Success, the Elite Group, R.L. O'Connor with their top 20 groups. So these are all examples of top-tier training schools for the automotive service industry. And so the concepts are widely accepted, and they basically all preach the same thing. And that is, if you want to increase your car count and if you want to boost your work order average and profitability, you really have to change your business model. You have to change your business model to address the concern of your clientele or the vehicle owner. So the best way to do that is by properly tracking vehicle maintenance, and that will in turn deepen the customer loyalty that you have. It will give you a competitive advantage. You'll get great reviews online, and as a result, you will increase your car count and you will boost your work order average and profitability naturally. And it will be not because you're arm twisting at the front counter, but rather the demand will come from the customers, because an informed customer is a happy customer. And if you're going to ask the customer to make a purchasing decision, give them information that they need in order to make an informed decision. I would tell John, I bet you've got, when he comes into my shop and he's at the front counter, I say, give me a second, John, I'm going to go get the odometer out of your car. But I bet you've got 124,635 miles. So I go to the car and I come back and I actually find that the car has 124,648 miles. In other words, really close to what Service Intelligence had told me. And I print out the report, and I go ahead and I circle the projection, and I say, it was off only by 13 miles. It's actually a pretty cool system that we're implementing, and let me show you what it's doing. The first thing it does is it knows how much you're driving. And this is for your Toyota 4Runner that you just brought in. But I'm also going to print out the Nissan that your wife drives, and in her case, she's only driving 5 miles a day. Now, of course, John knows this, and he says, yeah, that's right. She usually bikes to work, and that's pretty cool. I didn't know you knew that. And so this is the process of having the customer understand that what we're doing is, since we have 10 service visits for the Toyota 4Runner, and the first time we started seeing it was in 2001, we actually have, the computers are really good at math, and of course John knows this, that they're just keeping track of every visit. When we take your odometer reading, we have a date stamp. So the computer does the math, and it kind of projects what the average is simply by counting the days and counting the miles and doing the math. So it projected today's date because it's using the current report. And what it's doing is it's looking at the last service date, how many miles have elapsed, and this vehicle has been away from my base for 7 months. So it also helps me as a service writer to understand the purchasing practices of my customer. 7 months is quite a bit of time, so I take a look at the oil change, and I see that he's not driving very much, but he's actually 2 miles past due. Now, all of the computation that is taking place here is based on service intervals that I have the ability to set for my shop, and it is totally customizable to your demographics. And maybe this is a good point to point out that the differences in, for example, in a shop in South Texas or in Arizona, where they will do air filter checks every 6 months because of the dusty roads, is very different than maybe in the Northern Territory in Canada or in Alaska, where they will do battery load tests every year because the battery systems really take a beating with the cold, and it's also a life safety issue. If you're a single mom and you have a young child, you don't want to break down and not being able to start your car because the battery is not up to speed. So these are easily done by clicking here, and I'll come back to this a little later, but I just want to show you the oil change interval, for example. I have it set for 3,000 miles or 4 months, whichever comes first. Now notice I also have a synthetic oil change, so Service Intelligence allows me to have different intervals for the different types of oil changes. And these are totally customizable, where I can have 3 different oil changes, maybe if that's appropriate for your particular case. Or in this case, for example, we've got 2 different coolant types and different types of spark plugs.
So if I got this straight real quick, George. So this system is tracking 26 items for a customer.
That's correct.
Okay, and these 26 items I can customize any way I want, with any name, any interval, and any time or distance that I would like it to have.
Yes, it is so flexible, in fact, that we have customers that say perhaps they don't have a wheel alignment equipment. So this can be repurposed, and a good example, Chris, and I think that you were the one that did the customization for a particular shop, but why don't you tell that story and what that customer requirements were?
Yeah, we had one customer who actually asked us to remove a category because they didn't have the equipment to do it. So what they asked us for instead was that they were recording a membership as a line item in their management system. So that when a customer would come in, if they bought the membership, it was a 2-year thing, they would write down in the ticket item that they had purchased the membership program. So Service Intelligence was able to take that line item labor order and track it as a do now, do next, or a not performed yet. So their membership service went from the do next, as in it was something that had no history and it was never performed before, into the currently do now once their membership had expired. And then as the customer got it renewed, it would move back into the blue. So it was really easy for their service writers to look on the Service Intelligence report and be able to see whether or not a membership was currently due, or they had not yet been a member, or that they were a current standing one.
That's great. So what I did now is I changed the description just to show you how the wheel alignment just became a membership subscription. Now, of course, all I did is I changed the label. The underlying information, which is what we call keywords or triggers, has not been adjusted. But I can also really quickly go in here and demonstrate the power of Service Intelligence and how it allows us to take wheel balancing, for example, and all of a sudden say, well, no, the word I want to track now is membership. And so I add the word membership, and I move the membership over to include keywords. I can remove the 2 that I don't need, and now the word membership will trigger the new category. So I'm going to cancel because I don't really want to do that right now. But that gives you an idea of how quickly we can adjust Service Intelligence to track your particular terms. Another example that may be appropriate at this point is to show how a shop in Texas called us up and said, you know what, there's a problem with Service Intelligence. Our brakes are not being picked up. I know I performed a brake job on this particular vehicle, and Service Intelligence is not picking it up. Well, we give you a report called Detailed Report. So what we did is on the support call, we went to the detailed report, and this is for John's 10 visits. It's actually assembling all of the line items that are appropriate or related to this particular vehicle. And we went to the brake section, and actually we went to the area that we call not tracked. And we found that there were brake jobs that were called BRECAS, B-R-E-C-A-S, or a Spanglish term used in southern Texas for brake jobs. So all we did, again, is we went to the intervals, we added the keyword BRECAS, B-R-E-C-A-S, and then all of a sudden 10 years worth of history was properly reflected now in the reporting. And so there is a really high degree of accuracy that we can achieve with these reports, and Service Intelligence actually is extremely flexible, and together with unlimited support, there's really no error that cannot be addressed as far as that's concerned. Typically, what the industry has been doing is you have an oil change reminder, which is a windshield sticker. You go to the odometer, you add 3,000 miles to whatever the odometer is on that day, and then you tell the customer, here you go. Keep an eye on this sticker. When your mileage exceeds the number on the sticker, then you need to come in. Now, of course, if we were to do that for the tire rotations, and we were to do that for the air filter and the fuel filter and the battery and all of the other things that we're tracking, that would not work, right? Because we would have 26 stickers on the windshield.
Okay. So this is like a tickler file that you get all on one sheet of paper.
Well, sure. This is the 21st century version of that. Now, going back to deepening customer loyalty, what John is now getting a feeling is that we know his vehicles intimately. We know that he's driving 10 miles a day, that his wife is driving 5 miles a day, and that one of the things I would tell him is that we adjust the services that we perform based on how much the vehicle is used. And so if I go and click on Sarah's vehicle here, let's assume that she is in our shop at the same time. I could point out to John, you see Sarah's vehicle there on bay 3, she drives 25 miles a day. So actually we sell you about 40% of the maintenance that Sarah requires. Now this is really important, because what I'm communicating now is that the adjustment of the amount of services is based on usage, and this is actually the most efficient way and the most economical way of maintaining a vehicle. Part of what is taking place is that when we address our customers at the front counter, we have to use what we call the golden 10 minutes to further our brand image in our customer's mind, which means that we need to keep up with the times. And it's funny that it is this way, but the consumers perceive mechanics as being not actually very technical or up with the latest technology, even though our industry is very sophisticated. What the exchange that happens at the front counter sometimes is lacking. So what this Service Intelligence does is it assists us in communicating excellence to the customer. I'd go further, and let's assume Sarah is at the front counter now. I would tell Sarah that her Kia is good for really high mileages. In this case, she's got 225,000 miles, and that there is really no reason that she needs to replace her vehicle. As long as we keep on top of the preventive maintenance, this vehicle is good for 250,000 and beyond. And so this is the kind of message that customers want to hear, because they do not want to go to the dealership and buy a car prematurely. The other thing that takes place during the conversation is, now that we're providing authoritative reports, I can also tell Sarah, you know that I have a detailed report here for you. Actually, if you'd like it, and I can go ahead and send it to you. It has all your warranty information, everything we've ever done on your vehicle. Would you like that? And she says, yes, absolutely. So I say, okay, I see that you're holding your BlackBerry there, or your Android phone. Oh, this is bad practice. Okay, someone, this particular shop, I have a live database here, and there is a credit card number and the email address. That's a bad thing. So let me go to another record here. Let's go to Nancy's car. This is funny. Okay, so I can see that I don't have an email address. What Service Intelligence is doing, and maybe if I haven't said this already, it's a faithful reproduction of everything you have in your management system. So whenever I click on a customer's vehicle, it creates a new tab for me at the top, but it also tells me whether or not I have an email for the customer. So then I can say to, in Sarah's case, let me update my email, and I can go ahead and click on the email and type in the email address for my customer. And what I am doing is something very important, which I want to do, is express to the customer that we are a green business. We're trying to implement environmentally friendly practices. And instead of mailing and printing postcards, and we are using electronic communication. And one of the things we tell them is, you will never get a solicitation from us. What we do is we provide you with vehicle-specific service records, and we just track them for you based on how much you drive. So in this case, I went to Barry's second vehicle, and I can see that I don't have an email address. So as the days and weeks and months go by, I can systematically go through my customer base, show them how we are tracking services, and then ask them if they would like to have all their detailed records. And it's almost unanimous. Your customers are going to say, yes, I do. So then you can go ahead and say, now I'm going to Mark's. Okay, here we got an email address. So I can say, are you still at gmail.com? You know, I see it says Surf City. And he says, no, you know what, I don't have that one. I have this other email. I can go ahead and capture that email at that time. And then I can click send, and they will receive the email right there at the front counter. So this is a really good practice as a way to collect emails. With Service Intelligence, you will find that email communication is unlimited and is included with your subscription. So when you get an email address, that's really important because you start bringing your customers closer.
Okay, let me see if I got this straight. So the traditional way to grow my business is from my side of the counter. I need to work harder, longer, smarter, or faster. But the problem is that there's only 5 or 6 of us on this side of the counter. I can't clone myself, I can't tack on more hours of the day, and I can't be everywhere at once. So you're saying that a better way is to enlist the help of my customers to grow my business. And we're doing this by addressing the concerns about their economy, the job, the price of fuel, and the cost of vehicle ownership?
Yes, absolutely. And that is well said, that often what happens is that we look at growing our business as something that we need to do, and like you were saying, by working harder and longer hours. And often we feel that we have a bit of an adversarial situation with a customer where we do a vehicle inspection, we bring all the bad news to them, and then we put a price tag on that, and the whole exchange is, oh man, here you go again trying to sell me something, and we don't like to do that as business operators, and the customer doesn't want to be sold anything. A better way is to provide the customer with a flow of information the moment they come in, and you provide them with all their service records. So as the days and the weeks go by, you can see it's as simple as clicking the report and printing it onto a color printer. And we highly recommend that you get a color printer together with Service Intelligence, because the red and blue tell the story, and we even track things that we've never done. And so, for example, if this vehicle's been in almost 55,000 miles, and there's something that has service intervals that are less than the 55,000 miles, then they get flagged in gray as probably due now, unless they had it performed somewhere else. But to finish with a concept that when we communicate every service to every customer on every visit, it starts not feeling like an upsell, but rather really customer service. So for example, if I am Wayne, I want to know that my tires were last rotated in 2008 and that I'm actually 23,000 miles past the tire rotation, because now it's either one or two things, you know, and maybe now I'm back as a service writer. If I ask Wayne, hey Wayne, who else services your vehicle? Now that answer, of course, cuts both ways, right? If she says, well, I go to Jiffy Lube or whatever and have my oil changed done there, that's one thing. And I can say, well, have they rotated your tire, and I may suggest to him that that creates a fragmented history, so we don't have all of the services that are performed on his vehicle. Or he may say to me, George, you're it. You're the only one. Then, of course, this kind of reflects badly on me. Why is it that I allowed the tires to go the 6,000-mile interval that is recommended, plus an additional 23,000 miles? So this is a way of establishing a baseline with every single customer as they come in, and having services informed in a way that is objective and consistent. Because when this customer comes in the next time, and let's assume that we do these three things, we do the brake service, we do the fuel filter, and we do the oil filter, they will go from the red into the blue. And as a matter of fact, at the end of the day, when you close your invoice in your management system, you can click on the Synchronize button, and then Service Intelligence will now find the new invoice in your management system, bring it over, and now it will age these three things that were done, and probably the brakes are going to go forward 3 years based on the service interval that we have. And so now the customer, I can show them, and I say, yeah, 3 years or 36,000 miles. So I can show my customer how you don't need to deal with the brakes now until 2015. And this really goes a long way in what we were talking about at the beginning, which is how do you deepen customer loyalty? Well, this is how you do it. You track things objectively, and you do it consistently, and you provide the information at the point of sale when it's needed the most. One of the things that I would do when my customer comes to pick up the vehicle, and let's say this time it's Milton, and now I can say to Milton, you've taken care of these three things, and we are going to leave the coolant and the belt. They look fine, so we'll take care of it on the next visit. And according to the miles that you drive per day, you're going to need your next oil change November 29th. Now, this is a projection that's being done for this vehicle, and I want to click on some of the other vehicles. Just remember the date, November 29th. When I click on the Expedition, now this vehicle needs to come in on October 23rd. And the difference is because this vehicle is driven more than Milton's car. And so the next appointment date is computed by Service Intelligence, and this is where I would go ahead and start getting into the practice of asking our customers, once that we've gone through the process of explaining what Service Intelligence is doing and how it is that we're tracking all of their service history in order to provide them with the ultimate in service tracking, we are now in a position to suggest two things to the customer. The first one is when you go to multiple service providers, and some of our customers have this outdated practice, I would tell them, what ends up happening is if you go to Jiffy Lube for an oil change, Midas for brakes, and then you go to Goodyear for tires, and then you come to my shop when the car doesn't start, what you've done is you've fragmented your maintenance information among multiple service providers, so none of us really has the full picture. A better way is find someone you trust that is tracking all of your maintenance, and obviously, you've been coming to me for so many years. I will never sell you something before it's due, but I will also give you the opportunity to make a decision on what things we should do, and I'm going to age them for you based on how much you're driving. So this is where we can solicit 100% loyalty when it comes to preventive care. And I would go further, Janet, if I have to share you with my competitors, take them the broken car, but allow me to do all the maintenance for you. Not that I want you to go to my competitor, but if I do my job right and you follow my lead, I will keep you from breaking down for years to come. Then that's only one way of expressing to the customer that we don't want to share you with our competitors, but fair is fair, and so if you find that you want to go and patronize somebody else, that's your prerogative, but now the customer understands that they're shooting themselves in the foot if they are now undermining this report, and they start getting the idea that there is really no benefit. Tire rotations or oil changes, that's not, usually it's convenience that dictates where those things are done, not pricing differences. So now we have addressed how to increase car count, and you do that by setting the next appointment with your customer. So the idea is that the appointment would be triggered perhaps 5 days into the future, and then the day before the appointment. So with regards to setting appointments, it's one of those top items that are taught to shops. Get used to setting appointments, and you will increase your car count. The other thing that happens is preventive maintenance. You can see your customers 3 times a year, maybe even 4 if they drive more than average. As opposed to repairs, the repair model, you will see your customers every 9 months on average in the U.S., or 1.5 times per year. Now, this is, we spent most of our time talking about the point of sale and also how to set appointments. But now I want to talk to you about creating your reputation through sending thank you cards, and how you can also add Facebook and Twitter and even Foursquare within Service Intelligence. And one of the things that I'm going to do really quick here is add a Facebook page. I'm going to .com/service. And then I'm going to add a Twitter account. And I'm going to leave the review, so that's good enough. I'm not going to need the password at this point. But what I want to show you is that now whenever you have a report, all of the reports within Service Intelligence can be emailed. So now when I email this to my customer, they can leave a review or go to my Facebook page. So similarly with the thank yous, now what I'm going to do is, let's take a look at my thank you, and there is my social media. And I can decide if I want this graphic or if I want to use a different one. So I am going to take a quick look and see if this is on test mode. Good, because I don't want to send anything to any customers. And so I am going to now send an email to myself. And I want to show you how quickly all of the communication can be customized. This is common to all of the contact types within Service Intelligence, so I'm just going to do one of them. And so we provide with the application a library of images that you can use. So let's say that I want to be family conscious, and I just want to say, hey, how did we do? Please let us know. We treasure your reviews. And the text is also, you can see it right here, text 1 and text 2. I can make that read whatever I want. But I just want to show you that this is unique to Service Intelligence customer retention technology, where you can change any aspect and it's immediate. So we're going to go to my Outlook account. So here's the email I just sent to myself, and here's the modified email. So what you're seeing is real time. So if I were to send my thank yous out to my customers within a minute or two, they would all receive them. Service Intelligence has a companion product which runs in the background, and you will see how even though it's producing emails for me, I can go ahead and continue working on the point of sale uninterruptedly, even though it's composing emails for me on the background. To wrap up the different types of contact types, I just showed you the thank you. I want to show you the decline work. The decline work is one of these things that is natural. Often our customers are not able to afford or have the time for us to take care of a particular service. But what Service Intelligence does really well is it keeps track of everything that we've recommended. And it does the first recommendation 30 days after the service visit. And if the customer doesn't come in and they're still outstanding, it does a second and a third recommendation, which we let you adjust according to your own philosophy. You may want to say, no, give them 30 days, and then I want to give them 4 months, and then I want to give them another 4 months after that. Well, that's your prerogative. You can also go back as far as you want. We think that after 12 months, a recommendation may not be applicable, but you may disagree with that, and you can either just go only 6 months back or go 24 months. But what I want to show you is how this is being fed directly from your record. So if we go to Pam, it will be different than Brandy. So air intake hose, and if we go to Timothy, he'll have something completely different. So there you go. Idler pulley and transmission and throttle body cleaning. So again, like you saw before, I can change the graphics and I can customize the message. I can, let me just show you how I would do this. For example, I can say, let me stretch this a little bit. And so I can say, you know, I want to give you 10% off. So by typing anything in, I mean, this is instant. And again, I can test it to see what it looks like in my inbox. And I'll come back to this and I'll show you how this is an exact replica of what you have in your system. What you see is what you get. And so what the customer is going to receive is a faithful representation. So what I'm going to do is go to Outlook real quick. And now here is your vehicle may still need service alert. And you can see that the email that I got is identical to what I saw in my system. And so now the customer can go ahead and click on Request an Appointment. And what the system does is it takes the customer to My Appointment page. Now, some shops already have appointment capabilities on their website, and we can use that, or we provide it through a microsite, which is included in the system. So I can go ahead and enter my information, and I can go in and select what day I want to come in. I want to come in on Thursday, and then, you know, if that doesn't work, I'll come in on Friday. Actually, that was Friday. So let's do Thursday. So there you go. And then, you know, you can put in the phone number and the information regarding what kind of service you need to have done, and the year, make, model, and set an appointment. And now the shop receives an email. So this is a totally important way of removing barriers from letting our customers use whatever medium they're on. And so if they're sitting on their couch with an iPad on their lap and they receive a service reminder, we make it really easy for that customer not to have to get up and make a phone call or anything else, but rather they can just click on a link and type in the choice of appointment and make it that way. And finally, we have promotions, which I want to also point out that they are tied in to any promotion that we produce through our targeted marketing, and I'm going to show you that in 1 second here. So we give our customers access to the promotions. The service reminders are the backbone of all service reminder programs or customer retention programs, because what Service Intelligence does is it keeps track of the last 12 months of invoices, and it contacts everybody every 90 days. 4 emails a year is not much, and most people would not consider that disturbing or actually intrusive. And you'll see that the emails are based on their service records, so that whenever someone receives an email, it's factual, referring to exactly what services they need, and so therefore it is not intrusive in any way. Again, you have the ability to change graphics, but with service reminders, you also have the ability to add branding. So in the case of a AAA shop perhaps would, in this case I had the Napa Service Center, but if you're a AAA shop, let's say maybe you want to use the Show Your Card and Save, and we also have a Canadian version. But very quickly, 3 clicks, I just modified my communication piece. Let's say that it's, this image is very nice, but I'm thinking, no, I want to use something more automotive, so I can go ahead and pick any of the images, and this again is instant. As of tomorrow, my customers are going to receive the emails that are now using the new graphics. And so to test this, actually let me see this infinity here. You'll notice that there is a dollar value which I can totally control, and I can say, no, I want to send $10 to my most loyal group, but they have to spend $100 or more before they can use it. And then I want to lower the threshold, or I want to increase this to, let's do a $50 with $300 or more. And so you have the ability to make any kind of offer combination you want. And this is based on the amount of time that the vehicle or the family actually stayed away from your bays, meaning that the first contact is after 3 months. But if a customer stays away with all their vehicles for 6 months, maybe you want to give them a better deal or an offer. Now, if they're staying away for 9 months, now this is getting into the alarm level, and this is critical. Now they stayed away a whole year. So then you can structure your offers the same way. You can say, you know what, I don't want to have an offer or much of an offer, and actually, let's pick none. I'll just show you how that works. So it just erases everything. So I don't want to have an offer at all for my most loyal customers. And if they stay away 6 months, okay, let's do a $10 with $50 or more. Let's pick that. And so at least they can't use the $10 on my oil changes. And then I increase it to $20 and then to $50 for my 12-month group. And every day I will have a list of which customers I'm losing. So what you're seeing here in my 12-month group are all customers that have stayed away for a whole year. Now you see they're grayed out. That's because I don't have an email for them, which is where postcards come in. Now with my delivery tab, I have the ability to select how I want to communicate with my customers. The most popular one is email or postcard, meaning that if I have an email, don't spend the money on a postcard, but if I don't have the email, then okay, let's go ahead and spend the dollar or whatever it is, the $1.15. So in this case, I have a limit of 500 because within Service Intelligence, this guy has got a big shop. He does over 500 cars per month. So in this month, we're going to be contacting 1,300 vehicles, of which we have 232 emails. I have a limit of 500 postcards. So here it tells me how many customers are not going to get contacted because I'm not sending emails or postcards. But the idea is that the postcard is identical to the email. So let's go to the 6-month group and see what that postcard looks like. Now the postcard has the information, and look, this is exactly like what they saw at the point of sale. So it's consistent. My marketing is consistent, and I have the ability to customize my contacts to match my emails.
So I see that this is a Canadian postcard. Is this also available in the U.S.?
Yes, thank you for that. I will go into the shop information and make a change. This typically is not something you would change after you install the program, but the country of choice is the one that determines the postcard layout. And now we've got the U.S. version, which is very, very similar. So the idea is that with marketing, authoritative information, unbiased, and timely reporting is what creates customer responsiveness. And so when you use the point of sale and you use your email system and you combine it with postcards, you end up with a very thorough communication system that customers respond to.
So let me see if I've got this correct. This is kind of like hiring an employee, but now this employee works at the speed of a computer, rips through all the invoices that I have for a customer, finds all 15 invoices I have for them, computes exactly how many miles they drive per day by looking at 2 dates, 2 odometers, doing the math, and knowing how much has been driven by the customer, and then looking through the entire service history, identifying 26 recurring services, each one of them individually. They assemble a professional-looking report for each of the vehicles in the family, and in the background while they're doing that, they send out emails and postcards for thank yous, declined work, service reminders, and marketing emails. And he doesn't even take lunch breaks.
Yes, that's correct. So let's see, I just want to demonstrate the last service type. I just created this one, and this would be the service reminder that I just sent to myself to see that everything's working as intended. So to wrap this up, I want to go back to the original screen. And so what we've shown you so far is the point of sale, how that would work, and how I would establish the credibility with the customer in regards to my contact, my service tracking, and ask them for an email so that I can contact them in an environmentally friendly way. Then with the thank yous, I collect the reviews. With the decline work, I provide them with an easy way to set an appointment, which is also included in the service reminder that I should point it out. Let me open that up again. So the service reminders all have the same request and appointment capability. And the appointment reminder then is based on whenever you set an appointment in your management system, Service Intelligence picks it up, synchronizes automatically, and reminds the customer that an appointment has been set. The one thing that we have not talked about is the targeted marketing, which is included in the $199, and that is unlimited targeted marketing. And this is unique to Service Intelligence, that is actually a byproduct of our ability to track any of the 26 services that we have set on the setup screen. So for example, if I want to find everybody that needs an air filter, and I want to look at the vehicles that have had an air filter installed, how long ago was it installed, how much are they driving per day, and then aging that last installation to only come up with the actual list of vehicles that need it today. Now this process is now ripping through 28,500 vehicles, and as I explained earlier, we have a little bit over 500,000 line items, but it's going to give me a total right under the targeted marketing promotions label that will give me the vehicle count of how many people actually need this particular service. The reason why this is important is in the traditional method, what is called the shotgun approach, you have to send an offer to everybody whether they need the service or not. Within Service Intelligence, it's not that way. And this is really important in a world where everybody's getting spammed. We do not want to contact a customer unless they actually need it, because that is something that I explain at the point of sale, and I explain to the customer that if you ever get a piece from me offering you anything, it's because you actually need it based on how many miles you drive per day or how long it's been since the last time it was installed. And that creates, one of the things, it reduces the amount of people that you touch for a promotion to only those people that actually need it. And so this is about to give me the result. And what you're looking at is also something that can be done by a busy shop owner anytime, because within 5 minutes I will show you how this will not only find everybody that needs it, but I can also customize the message and click Deliver Now. And if I choose to not use postcards, then this is included and it's unlimited. So we have shops that do 2, 3, 4, 5 of these types of promotions per month because they only know that the people that actually need the service are receiving it.
Oh, so it's like self-curtailing too. So like if I wanted to do the same promotion once every month, then the customers who had those services would not show up on the list because they were taken care of?
Yes, that's what we call self-curtailing, meaning that if you do, and this is often done, where if you do an oil change reminder campaign and you send out 300, let's say, and 100 of those vehicles come in during the month, and I do the same campaign the following month, the 100 people that came in to have the service performed, Service Intelligence takes that from the red, puts it into the blue, and now they're no longer going to be part of my target campaign the following month. So this is a really important clarification that that is how we avoid fatiguing our customers, because once they got the service done, the last thing they want to do is receive a reminder telling them that they need to do something that they just did. So Service Intelligence does that automatically, and it will never send the same reminder twice. So here we have the results, and it found, oh, I see, I have include if no history. So it gives me my entire database. So it tells you here I've got 1,120 emails out of my 27,062 vehicles. Now, you'll notice there's a little difference between the 28,000 in the fleet and actually the ones that have service records. So it is possible to have walk-in traffic that buy parts and then there's no vehicle information or a proper address to send postcards to. Actually, that's what it is. If you don't have a mailing address, then you cannot send postcards, and that's why they're deducted from the count.
Probably also that if those customers probably don't need an air filter replacement right now, so they're not on the list too, right?
Oh, you're right. I see what you said. What Christopher is reminding me is that the system will eliminate anybody that had an air filter installed recently. So that would be also part of the difference between the 28,580 and the 27,062. But now what I'm going to do is I want to have only the people that have history. So I'm going to uncheck no history, and it will change the count to exclude anybody that actually we have no information on. So this I know I have 600 vehicles, 612 vehicles that actually need an air filter today. So in this case, you can see how, since I don't have that many emails, sending postcards may be something that makes sense with this particular campaign. And to do some branding, maybe I cut a deal with my part supplier, and they are, let's say they're Fram air filters, so I can go in and add the logo, and now maybe there is a coupon that gets qualified, and this is something you need to negotiate with your part supplier. But now you can see that the email and the postcard are both branded so that my customer can redeem a coupon that I can get from my help from my part supplier to provide. So we also have coupon editing capabilities. You can make this anything you want, you know, whether it's $10, 10% or $10 off. And so this is instant. The change I just made is effective, so I can go ahead and let me send myself an email so that I can test and see what it looks like. But what's also happening is we are helping you populate all of your social media with tweets and with Facebook postings. Anytime you get a review, we update your social media, and anytime that you do a promotion, we update your social media. So this is a really handy way of tying in your marketing with the habits of your clientele. If they're spending time on Facebook and they don't really want to move away from that medium, you don't force them to. They can stay right there, and they can even set an appointment. And here's the email that we just created with a Fram filter, so you can see how powerful the system is as far as customizations. And again, when they get the email, they can go ahead and request an appointment directly. And if I go to my microsite, I have my microsite will also have their reviews and also the promotion. So to wrap this up, what I'd like to do is quickly reiterate the main objectives of increasing car count, deepening customer loyalty, and creating competitive advantage, and boosting work order averages and profitability are all based on changing my business model to favor maintenance as opposed to repairs. And the most organic and holistic way of transforming my business is with the help of a reporting system that is designed specifically to assist me in talking to Laura when she comes in, or talking to Cindy and Christina in such a way that also addresses the needs of my female customers, where they don't want to hear any technical mumbo-jumbo, they just want to get the facts. And if there's any questions about the summarized report, we have at our fingertips a detailed report which our customers absolutely love, and I can make available to them with a simple click of the mouse. Clearly, the service experience is a cut above the rest, and so that also provides me with competitive advantage. So if Laura ends up at my competitors and she says, let's say it's Johnny's Automotive, and says, Johnny, how many miles has it been since my last belt service? Maybe Johnny has to dig in to the management system a little bit too much, or how many miles does my husband drive per day, and these kinds of things are what really set us apart in the industry. So in a nutshell, Service Intelligence is designed to help us transform our customer experience at the point of sale and automate all of our recurring contact through total automation. So we set the rules, set it in motion, and the rest takes care of itself. Thank you, and goodbye.